Hey there, we begin at 4 o'clock on this Friday with a live look at Carmel, where the city's Jazz Fest is about to kick off. Local acts and performers from around the world, they're going to be here for the two-day event, and it looks like we're going to have some great weather for it. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining 13 News here on WTHR Plus. I'm Dustin Grove, along with meteorologist Sean Ash. We were just saying it's tough to top this weather. The humidity's coming down, and we're in for a cool weekend.
Yeah, I mean, a little hint of autumn here the next couple of mornings, and that means eventually we can shut off the ACs, open the windows, and let some fresh air into the house. And it's long overdue here. Let's show you the numbers across central Indiana on our camera network, and a beautiful shot around central Indiana. Just a few fair weather clouds, and that's just about it. These are all sun-driven, by the way, so as we get closer to sunset, any clouds at all start to diminish. And as that happens, the wind will start to ease as well. So there is so much going on. If you're going to Kroger's Symphony on the Prairie here tonight, enjoy it. Music of ABBA, gates opening up at 6 o'clock. That is just a perfect evening, and we will do it again tomorrow for Yacht Rock at Conner Prairie. Scattered clouds, as mentioned, 79 in Indy, 82 in Shelbyville. If you've been following the Muggy meter the last several days, and it's been a waiting game. We told you there was going to be a couple of fronts. The one today would have the big punch of drier air with it, and that's now showing up. Dew points in Lafayette in the mid-50s. The only 60-plus we have is Shelbyville, Richmond, and Bedford. Those will continue to go down here, and that is going to be key. So a very quiet setup for us. Tomorrow morning, if you're going to be out for that walk, noticeably cooler and noticeably less humid. Northwest wind at about 5 to 10. Lows tonight, early tomorrow morning. I would not be shocked either tomorrow morning or Sunday morning if we have a couple of 40s sprinkled around on this map. It'll be a quick warm up tomorrow and a pleasant one at that. We're topping out in the 70s, so almost a kind of a spring feel to the afternoon, with plenty of sunshine to go around. And how about this? We've got Colts tailgating forecast for this Sunday. To be determined if the roof is open. If it were me, it would be open. Either way, if you're going to be going to the Colts game on Sunday, enjoy another spectacular weather day. It will be slightly warmer in the afternoon on Sunday, into the upper 70s. Right now, the modeling for next week showing a system perhaps later Monday into Tuesday. Confidence low on that right now, but there should be a warming trend to kick in the second half of next week that gets us back to more typical levels of warmth into the 80s. But this weekend, in my opinion, is weather perfection. Enjoy it.
Sean, we sure will. Thank you, sir. A car on Indy's west side stolen with the baby in the back. This is a story we first brought you yesterday. Now we're learning this kind of thing actually happens more than you might think. Neighbors tell us in this most recent case, the mom had left the car running while she stepped out for a second. That's when somebody got in and drove off. Now, luckily, somebody called police after finding that baby in front of their house about a mile away. The child is back home, safe with family, but we talked with an expert today who says so far this year, there have been already 63 similar cases across the country.
Most of the time, these people don't even know that there's a child in the backseat until they've already stolen the vehicle. And then they panic and they either abandon the child on the side of a road, or some cases end up in a high-speed chase. We've even seen cases where the person has handed the baby off through a drive-through window and then sped away.
Incredible. Glad the baby in this case is okay. In this recent case, police have found the car. So far, we're not aware of any arrests being made just yet. We'll keep an eye on that. Drivers around Indy, you know we have navigated some big cone zones around the city this summer, and another big project is already planned for next year. Starting next spring, INDOT will close 5 miles of I-65 on the southeast side. This is going to stretch from Fletcher Avenue, the Fletcher Avenue exit, all the way south to 465. Crews will be adding a travel lane in both directions and also doing some bridge work. For the last year, INDOT has been meeting with neighbors about it.
We've received so much feedback, and it's been really great, whether it be worried, some comments, some concerns, or positive, whatever it may be. We look forward to that so we can answer those questions, so we can make sure that we are getting back to the people who are in this area, as well as trying to see how we can incorporate it into the project.
And you've still got a little less than an hour to tell NDOT what you think. The public comment window closes today at 5. We've got a link right here on WTHR.com. Looks like there will be a presidential debate after all. This morning, former President Trump agreed to a debate in September after previously saying no. Garrett Hake tells us where the race for the White House stands now.
After weeks of uncertainty, the stage is now set for a presidential debate showdown between Vice President Harris and former President Trump next month. The former president announcing at a news conference he's agreed to a debate against Harris on September 10th, backing off online threats not to show, and saying he's also up for 2 additional September showdowns.
We'd like to do 3 debates.
Harris non-committal on additional debates.
Well, I'm glad that he's finally agreed to a debate on September 10th. I'm looking forward to it and hope he shows up.
Mr. Trump's own news conference packed with personal attacks and falsehoods, like this claim that his January 6th speech in Washington drew a bigger crowd than Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech.
Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people, if not, we had more.
This as polls show the race tightening nationwide. To what do you attribute her rising in the polls?
She's a woman. She represents certain groups of people, but I will say this. When people find out about her, I think she'll be much less.
Harris shrugging off Trump's criticisms.
I was too busy talking to voters. I didn't hear him.
But she did stop to defend her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, from GOP attacks over his military record.
Listen, I praise anyone who has presented themselves to serve our country, and I think that we all should.
The Trump campaign has seized on past comments like this.
We can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are at.
Well, I wonder, Tim Walz, when were you ever in war?
Walz served in the National Guard for 24 years and was deployed to support the operation in Afghanistan, stationed in Italy. Nothing in Walz's service record indicates he fired a weapon in combat, but the Harris campaign noting he, quote, carried, fired, and trained others to use weapons of war innumerable times.
That was Garrett Hake reporting. The other big story we've been following all week long is Debbie. After slamming ashore in Florida as a Category 1 hurricane on Monday, Debbie ends the week as a post-tropical cyclone tracking through the Northeast and upper New England. This storm still poses a potentially lethal threat with heavy winds and rains and tornadoes and flooding too. Laura Aguirre has more as state officials continue to warn their residents of Debbie's looming danger.
Everything kind of shook in the room.
Employees of this Delaware Acme store had just seconds to take cover in the back.
That tornado came through, took some of the roof off, did a lot of damage.
The National Weather Service confirmed it was an EF1 twister that swept through, powered by Debbie's still dangerous and destructive winds.
Luckily, everybody was safe. Everybody got out.
The Northeast is squarely in Debbie's sights Friday. The storm initially gained strength over land Thursday, tearing through the Carolinas after a second landfall.
We're preparing for what's coming, preparing for about 4 feet of water.
Millions of people from South Carolina to Maryland are under the threat of tornadoes, damaging winds, or flooding into the early evening.
Please remember that the worst of the rain could come after dark. Remain vigilant.
Sometimes there is no road under what appears to be a small amount of water over the pavement.
A hazard visible in places where Debbie's waters have receded a bit. In the southeast, many rain-swollen rivers have reached flood stage and could stay high for days to come, keeping swift water rescue teams busy, like this one in Raleigh, North Carolina, that plucked 3 young children to safety Thursday.
And it was really scary because at the end, Kelly was like, she was barely holding on, and then the rescue team came just in time.
Debbie's advance into upper New England Friday is expected to be the storm's final blow. It'll move off the U.S. coast sometime Saturday, leaving a mark that could take months, if not years, to heal. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
What a mess. The Colts moving right along through training camp right now as they gear up for their first preseason game this weekend, and he welcomes the Denver Broncos to Lucas Oil on Sunday. Our Dominic Miranda was at training camp today and lets us know who we will see out there on Sunday.
A picture-perfect day here for Colts training camp, day 10, if you can believe it, here at Graham Park. Colts were off yesterday. They're off tomorrow ahead of the first preseason game against the Denver Broncos on Sunday. A lot of nuggets we got from head coach Shane Steichen after today's practice. Number one, a Josh Downs update. He confirmed it was an ankle sprain for the second-year receiver that saw him leave practice on Wednesday. Shane Steichen did have an update on Downs and a conversation he had with the safety Nick Cross, who took Downs down in 7-on-7 on Wednesday.
He has an ankle. I'm not going to put a timetable on his return. I know that he's going to attack his rehab like crazy, and he'll be back. So excited about that, getting him back. I mean, I had a conversation with Nick after practice that I'll keep private, but bottom line is it's a 7-on-7 period, and we got to stay off the ground.
Additionally, Shane Steichen telling us after practice that starters will play a series or two against the Broncos in the Colts' first preseason action on Sunday, so we will get a look at this number one offense on Sunday. And sight for sore eyes seeing Anthony Richardson on the field. We'll have much more on his excitement and what we can expect to see from this Colts offense on Sunday. That's coming up for you at 6. Here at Grant Park, I'm Dominic Miranda for now, 13 Sports.
All right, we'll see you at 6 over on 13. Thank you, Dom. Here's your lineup now for prime time in Paris, starting at 8 o'clock tonight. Women's diving, the 3-meter springboard final. Then the women's final in beach volleyball. Then at 9 o'clock, women's track and field, the shot put final and the 400-meter final, followed by the men's turn with their 400-meter hurdles final. And finally tonight, the women's final in breaking. Looking forward to that as well. As the Paris Games come to a close this weekend, the next Olympic city is already swinging into action for 2028. Julia Vargas is in Los Angeles, the city that'll be hosting the Games for a third time.
Paris is out, Los Angeles is in. The glitz and glamour of Hollywood, Pacific Ocean beaches, and the iconic backdrop of LA's skyline all coming together for a blockbuster Olympics in 2028. But this isn't the City of Angels' first rodeo. The year was 1984. Ronald Reagan was president, Prince topped the Billboard charts, and video game arcades were all the rage, even inside the UCLA Olympic Village. In 2028, the sprawling campus will once again serve as housing for Olympians, about 15,000 of them. LA is not building any new venues, rather it will adapt existing ones, like the Memorial Coliseum for Olympic and Paralympic sports.
We know that Angelinos will benefit from the preparation and hosting of the Games.
Organizers are learning from Paris after athletes complained of uncomfortable beds, lack of air conditioning, and food shortages. But a major concern for LA is traffic. Special Olympic lanes, work-from-home policies, and nighttime deliveries to the Olympic Village might help keep the city moving.
Let's get ready for 4 years from now. Go LA!
More opportunities for Team USA to get a gold medal, now on U.S. soil. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
All right, a lot of great opportunities, a lot of challenges, a lot of time to work it all out.
Oh, yeah, 4 years. Get working now, yeah?
No kidding. Final check of the forecast, a beautiful weekend.
It really is. Amazing stuff here. If tomorrow's your state fair day, enjoy it. A crisp start in the morning, but sunshine and a very pleasant finish, and then the rest of the weekend. I mean, this might be one of the best weekends we've had all summer. 50s for lows, 70s for highs, and plenty of blue sky. Looking forward to it.
All right. Turn those ACs off, open the windows.
Give them a break.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time here on 13 News and WTHR Plus.